Good morning. I am Isatu Kamara Bush, a member of our Board of Trustees, and I welcome you to this Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbia. I am a middle-aged-ish, brown-skinned woman with black hair pulled back, wearing a black shirt and with a purple cardigan over it. We are a congregation of many beliefs, striving together to embody courageous love, radical welcome, and deep connection, and we are so glad you are here. Welcome. We offer a live stream of our services and extend a warm welcome to those of you joining online. We strive to make our worship accessible, and you can find an accessible order of service with hymn lyrics included at our web homepage, uucomo.org. There are listening assistance devices with our ushers near the entrance to the sanctuary, and if you are on Zoom, you can click the closed caption button for subtitles. For those of you with us in person, masks are now welcome, celebrated, and optional. We'd particularly like to welcome any visitors among us this morning and invite you to find our Visitor Connect book in the greeting area or in the chat. We'd love to stay in touch with you. Children and babies are always welcome in worship, and we also have a lively children's program for all ages and nursery care for our youngest ones in the lower level. Children will be invited to a Sunday school class after our centering and time of embodied prayer. Before our prelude, we have a brief message from our stewardship team about this year's annual giving campaign. Thank you to our chair, Susan Even. Sorry, Kevin. Today, Kevin Fritchie is going to introduce Pac Matthews, who's going to give us a testimonial.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Fritchie, and I am a white male who is aging and graying around the temples. I'm wearing a yellow button-down shirt. Today, I want to tell you some information about our generosity campaign. And as of right now, we are at about the halfway point financially, but we still have quite a few families and pledge units that we would very much like to hear from. One of my jobs for the generosity campaign is coordinating the people who will be calling you if you don't make your contribution known to us beforehand. And if you remember last year, we called everyone. We wanted to touch base with everyone, and we really enjoyed that. It's something that I actually enjoy doing, making those calls and touching base with you. So I will be, and a team of people that I've been able to organize will be making those calls. So my hope is that you will be able to go ahead and make your contribution. And if you would like to talk to one of us, we will be calling you. The other thing I need to say is that I hope to see you at our celebratory garden party this Saturday. It's going to be right here from 3 o'clock till 4:30. Join your church friends as we wind up the annual giving campaign. And there will be music, snacks, crafts, and always a popular photo booth, and all ages are welcome. And without further ado, we're going to hear a little bit from Pac Matthews regarding the campaign.
Hello, I'm Pac Matthews. I'm a ubiquitous pale white male, aging, horn-rimmed glasses, and I guess I'm colorblind, so this is a rust wool shirt. Okay. We have been witness to how our healthy congregation responded to the COVID crisis in ways that deepened connection. We've responded to the needs of our underhoused community in our own town as the non-anxious house of faith. We and really bad eyesight as well. Yes. Our larger denomination has responded to the ongoing and chronic crisis of racism in our national family of origin in many ways, not least among them Black Lives UU and the Eighth Principle Project. This healthy congregation that we enjoy was a deliberate project of Bill Haney's, who strategically placed the book Generation to Generation in the hands of some key leaders. Because of this book and the work of Khaki Love, Fran Reynolds, who we've both lost recently, Lynn Malley, Dwight Riemann, and the extended peacebuilding team, the principles and strategies of family systems thinking were embedded deep into the DNA of our community. A family systems approach empowers us to address the dysfunctions of our own family of origin rather than to try to work those issues out through drama with this chosen family. First, a small example of one of the many dramas that I instigated. Years back, before I was exposed to this work, a fellow parent approached me to help organize that year's Nurture Sunday service. I was brittle and twitchy from a recent divorce, trying to keep my head above water financially and emotionally. My response was not pleasant. I said something to the effect of, "Why do we nurturers have to organize our own celebration?" And actually, that was my verbatim response, I think. It wasn't my proudest moment. Practicing the tools and mental models of family systems helped me mature my reason for being in religious community. I learned that the only way I could be a non-anxious asset to this community was for me to clean up my relationships to my own family of origin. I decided that the purpose of this chosen family is as a supportive mirror to how well my personal family project is going. And believe me, it's an ongoing project. Until I engaged with the baggage I brought from my own family of origin, I kept finding and or creating the same family dynamics that drove me crazy wherever I went, secular or spiritual. I invite you to recall the moment that you chose this family of families in all of its beautiful variety. What was going on in your life then? What challenges were you hoping to find answers for? Keep those memories handy, for certainly there will come a moment when you feel like firing us and hiring something else. If you do fire us at some point, please don't do it quietly. Give us the chance to renegotiate the narrative. Having a toddler around the house has reminded me that we are enormously capable of renegotiating the script at 5-minute increments, actually. I've received so many other gifts from this community as well. It has offered an ongoing challenge for me to name and aim my many privileges in the direction of justice. I'm so glad I stuck around and found a way to stay engaged through my many moments of being triggered, tempted to lay blame at the feet of my fellow parishioners, the faith tradition, or even the whole human project of religion. I can only encourage you to keep looking for reasons to rehire your own family of origin, this faith community, and the community where we live. Our UU tradition offers many tools already. If you can't find what you need, the UU faith is flexible enough to welcome a tool you bring into the fold. If you've been around long enough to fire and rehire us, your faith community, a number of times, count yourself fortunate. You're getting the full human experience. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Violet. I'm your music director here at the UUCC, and I have short blondish hair, wearing glasses today with a yellow blazer jacket and a blue button-up underneath it. There's a slight change in our order of service. The song that is listed in the offertory is going to be played now, and this song is called The First Word. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that for the month of February I did a songwriting challenge where I wrote a song a day. And this is one of those songs. Both of the songs I'll be playing today are from that challenge. This is the first one, and it's called The First Word. What was the first word you heard when you woke up today? What were those feelings that you fought, tried to make them go away? Just be present, dear. Sit with your fear and just be here right now. What was that song that you sang before they took it away? What was that feeling that you felt? You can't find the words to say. Just be present, dear. Sit with your fear. Yeah, just be here. Present, dear. Sit with your fear. Yes, just be here right now. And who were you then? And who are you now? Where have you been? Did you forget how to be present, dear? Sit with your fear and just be here right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Molly Housh Gordon, the minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman with pale skin and red hair that's long on one side. I'm wearing a long maroon dress with a stole that has grapevines in a stained glass pattern on a white background. I want to let you know before we begin our opening words that you have note cards in your order of service. We are going to use those a little bit later on. And at some point, you might want to grab a golf pencil, if you didn't get one on your way in, a little mini pencil so that you can write and doodle a little bit later in the service. Our opening words this morning are by the poet David White and his poem, Sometimes. Sometimes, if you move carefully through the forest, breathing like the ones in the old stories, who could cross a shimmering bed of dry leaves without a sound, you come to a place whose only task is to trouble you with tiny but frightening requests, conceived out of nowhere, but in this place beginning to lead everywhere. Requests to stop what you are doing right now and to stop what you are becoming while you do it. Questions that can make or unmake a life. Questions that have patiently waited for you. Questions that have no right to go away. This morning, as folks from all over the world gather in Columbia to celebrate documentary film at the True False Film Fest, we at the UU Church are spending some time with what I call beautiful questions. I believe that Unitarian Universalism is a faith of beautiful questions. We believe that it is more compelling to spend our lives with the questions than to find static, permanent, black and white answers, and that every question leads only perhaps to more questions. So this morning, we're going to spend some time with questions that cannot be answered, but that evoke something in us, a feeling, an idea, a response. When it boils down to it, perhaps life itself is the most profoundly beautiful question. And we and our living are a whole chorus of response. So let us wonder, puzzle, ponder, query, and inquire together today. Come, let us worship.
Good morning. I'm Timothy Dickerson. I'm your worship associate this morning. I am a middle-aged, pale male with mostly salt, a little bit of pepper beard, brown eyes with a salmon-colored and blue and white checkered shirt, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. We now light our chalice, the symbol of our faith, in this cup of community that holds us, and the flame of spirit that unites us and upholds us. As I light our chalice, will you please join me in the words of affirmation printed in your order of service? Love is the spirit of this church,
and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. I'm Jamila Batchelder, the Director of Religious Education here. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman with dark blonde hair and glasses. I am middle-aged, wearing a brown dress, gray sweater, and purpley green, earth tony knit scarf. Unitarian Universalists famously love rationalism, and I love it too. But rationalism is just one way of knowing. And one of the things I love about this congregation is the way we celebrate poetry, which is another way of knowing, and it takes us into understanding in a different way that gets beyond just pure rationalism. So I want to share a book with you. Pablo Neruda, the great poet, wrote The Book of Questions, which poses some poetic questions, and this version is illustrated by Paloma Valdivia, which we're going to see some illustrations on the screen. But as you hear these questions for our centering, I want you not to try to answer them with your rational mind, but just to see what opens up in you as you ponder these questions that maybe don't make any rational sense at all. So let's begin. Does the earth chirp like a cricket in the symphony of the skies? Who shouted for joy when the color blue was born? How did the abandoned bicycle find its freedom? Who sings from the watery depths of the abandoned lagoon? How do I express to the tortoise that I surpass him in slowness? So, How do roots know they must rise up to the light and later greet the air with crowds of colorful flowers? Is there room for a few thorns? They asked the rose bush. What news bursts forth from the leaves of those first days of spring? Do you hear explosions of yellow in the middle of fall? If we use up all the yellow, with what will we make the bread? Where can you find a bell that rings inside your dreams? Where does the stuff of dreams go? Does it pass into the dreams of others? Where does the rainbow end? In your soul or on the horizon?
And we're going to sing a centering song from our teal hymnal with some more beautiful questions. Wo Ya Ya is number 1020, and Violet's going to lead us in singing. You can stay seated or rise, however you feel comfortable, whatever your body prefers today.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be mighty and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know within. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 Let's do that one more time. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, during a moment of contemplative music, I invite you into our weekly ritual of stones and water. Those of you with us online are invited into a time of contemplation during quiet music, and you may wish to share your joy or sorrow in the chat to be spoken aloud in our time of prayer. For those of you here in the sanctuary, you are welcome to come forward and take a stone representing any of the hopes and fears that you bring with you this morning, and drop the stone in the water, which represents the embrace of our community. Those of you in person who wish to have your joy or sorrow spoken aloud may write it on a slip of paper at the back table, there in the very middle of the sanctuary here in the back, to be shared in our time of prayer then.
The children will now head downstairs. We are having a group Sunday where we are going to all be together in the centering room doing yoga with Amber. I'm very excited. If you all can join me in singing them out with the words printed in your order of service.
Please join me in a spirit of prayer meditation. Mystery of mysteries. We are thirsty for justice and bearing witness to grief. We're claiming our inherent wholeness and healing strands of the great web. We are hungry for liberation and cracking ourselves wide open. We are mourning the dead and fighting for the living. We are singing for joy and striving for meaning. We're embodying love, reaching out in love, acting on love's behalf, and letting that love wash over us, ebbing and flowing as it carries and holds us all. May we do it all over again when the new day comes. Amen. I invite you to remain seated and join in our sung response, hymn number 357 in your gray hymnals, Bright Morning Stars.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a-breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Day is a-breaking in my soul. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. Day is a-breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Day is a-breaking in my soul. They are in the fields of plowing. They are in the fields of plowing. They are in the fields of plowing. Day is a-breaking in my soul.
If all rivers are sweet, where does the sea get its salt? One must allow images of rivers, sea, sweetness, and salt to reverberate more deeply than their literal meanings. One must be patient instead of rushing to confront the question with a reasoning mind. Gazing into the night sky from a ship's deck or the desert floor, we glimpse the most distant stars out of the corner of our eyes. When we stare directly at them, they fade from view Like those stars, these questions reveal themselves more completely to a receptive mind, a mind engaged in intuitive and emotional perception. El Libro de las Preguntas, the Book of Questions, was Chilean poet Pablo Neruda's final work. He finished it just months before his death in 1973. It is a poetry volume made entirely of lyric, beautiful questions, 74 poems with 316 questions. His translator, William O'Daly, wrote the following in introduction to the 1991 translation of El Libro de las Preguntas. He wrote, "In the Book of Questions, Neruda achieves a deeper vulnerability and vision than in his earlier work. These poems integrate the wonder of a child with the experience of an adult." No wonder he turned toward them later in his life. An adult usually grapples with a child's irrational questions solely with the resources of the rational mind. And while Neruda craves the clarity rendered from an examined life, he refuses to be corralled by his rational mind. To the 316 questions that compose the 74 poems of this sequence, no rational answers exist. These questions rather present a reflective surface in which only one's own face can be discerned. Neruda's questions reveal new mysteries linking physical truth to metaphysical truth. Allowing questions to light the way, we arrive at previously uncharted places. These poems, however, cannot be considered roadmaps for intuitive, emotional, or spiritual paths. They lead a double life. They cast nets of words into our psyches so we might gain understanding, yet they clearly reside in the unknown, beyond words, where the answers have no names. So this morning, we're going to take some time to engage a receptive mind, to live the questions together, not to answer, but to respond. I'm going to lead you through a series of beautiful questions, some from Neruda and some from me, and I'm going to suggest a different response to each, building towards deeper and deeper engagement. I invite you to engage this morning in a way that feels right to your receptive mind, your body, your spirit. And so for our first question, the response will simply be 2 minutes of silence. And I'll pop up with a bit of music when each 2 minutes is up, repeating the refrain from Wo Ya Ya. So here is your first question for silence. What did the tree learn from the earth to be able to talk with the sky? For the second question, the response I invite is 2 minutes of doodling on your card in your order of service. 2 minutes of doodling, and here's the question. Tell me, is the rose naked or is that her only dress? The response to the third question will be 2 minutes of free writing. You can use the second card or turn that one over for lines. And your question to write to is, what does the moon whisper to the earth in passing? What does the moon whisper to the earth in passing? response to the fourth question is 2 minutes to turn and talk to a neighbor. And the question is, where will the particles of you linger when they drift apart? Where will the particles of you linger when they drift apart? We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. For the fifth question I'm going to ask you to engage with, I'm going to be merciful and say 1 minute to dance or move your body. 1 minute to dance or move your body. Violet will give you music. You don't have to do it in silence. It can be a tiny finger if you need it to be, or it can be big and bold if you're feeling that way. The question is, what are the birds laughing at humans about? 1 minute to move your body. What are the birds laughing at humans about? proud of you. I'm so proud of us moving our bodies in the sanctuary. In a moment, Tim and I, our worship associate and I, are going to share prepared written responses to two different beautiful questions to conclude this time. But first, Violet has agreed to give a musical response to a beautiful question. So this is entirely improvised. And the question for Violet is, who taught your blood to sing?
Okay, here we go.
Open my mouth, let the melody flow out. It's a song I have sang before. Open my mouth, let the melody flow out. It's a song we have sang before.
Tim and I got our questions ahead of time. And we each agreed to respond. Not an answer, but a response. The first question that Tim and I got in advance is, what does oblivion taste like? I've heard that sometimes pregnant people have cravings one would never have imagined. Chalk, hair, dirt. It's called pica, the craving of non-edible things. But who is to say what elements a life needs to grow from the possible into the real? When I was pregnant with my first child, I ate pounds and pounds of watermelon. After my second child was born, my belly slowly shrank back into me, and watermelon started to make my throat swell. I haven't touched the stuff since. There is probably something before and something after our time in this world. Is there even such a thing as nothing? There's always energy bopping around, right? Shrinking and swelling. There's the opposite of that too, right? Dark matter, mystery. But even a void could never be just empty, right? It's replete and unknowable. Chaos, perhaps, but never nothing. Pregnant, perhaps, with possibility. The more I think about what comes after all this, the more I wonder about the taste of dirt. No matter what happens, I know that's part of where I'm headed, and I think it must taste like deep, like dark, like everything possible and could be, and what if, and I wonder, and all together, and inseparable, and whole, and death, and life, and life, and life. Tim, what does oblivion taste like to you?
Wow, what is this taste upon my tongue? I think it might be just a hint of pistachio ice cream. Or it's the spaghetti casserole served with lots of love to me as a kid when I was in school. Or maybe it's just that first taste of that magnificent Mysore masala dosa that just made me drool. Oh, now, there's definitely a hint of those yum-alicious yams at Big Daddy's BBQ. Oh, wow. Now there's another hint of my mother's beef stew. Now that I think about it, it's all these tastes and everything I've tasted in between. I'm positive I could go on and on and on. But to me, these are at least a tiny taste of oblivion.
And our second question, what does the dandelion think as it goes to seed? A few weeks ago, I shaved a third of my hair away, leaving one prickly copper fuzz behind on the right side of my head. The other 2/3 is long and flowing, parted precipitously to the side. Folks have been kind, but almost always get around to asking some version of why. Why now? Why at all? Sometimes I tell them I just thought it would look cool, and it does look cool. I am about to break into breakdance, about to break into punk song. This is true. Sometimes I joke that this is my apocalypse due. Though I suspect any sincere societal collapse would deprive us of the electricity needed for weekly trims with a clipper snapped into a number 2 guard. And isn't something always ending? Something always beginning? Sometimes I tell folks that the more mainstream culture openly aligns itself with fascism, the less mainstream I want to look. And I'm getting looks. Wary from some folks. Dismissive sometimes in a way I've never known before. This is probably the most true. But I wonder if the truest truth is even more basic than that. That in the end it all flies away. One bright morning, one quiet night, one terrible day, and this is one way to begin unclenching my hands. And that maybe in that unclenching, in that prickly fuzz, in dismissive looks, maybe in the end and the beginning all tangled up, maybe there is the most freedom I have yet known. Maybe there is a taste of what we hope, we pray, we strive is to come.
What does the dandelion say as its seeds drift away? Drift away, all my beautiful, sweet legacy and potential. You may feel small as the air moves you and makes you twirl. So relax into the flow and enjoy your dance with this warm, gentle summer breeze. And remember that all of you are working together to save us and the bees. Float around until your new home you have found. Float around until you found your place within the ground. Once you find your place of birth, begin to bury your roots, running them deep down into the earth. As you grow, tend until this compacted, rigid soil, helping to bring more diversity and beauty all around you as you toil. You may be seen as an annoyance or even a weed, but know that you will do mighty things, oh my tiny, tiny seed. Do not fret about what others think. You are a beautiful and beneficial flower. So take hold of the ground and know that soon others will benefit from your power. You shall provide a better life for all that see your sunny, bright blossoms and deep, rich green foliage. Soon, we'll be known as the cool flower of our age. So please listen to my words of encouragement and keep on keeping on. And now, I shall return to cosmic dust and taste once more this flavor of oblivion.
Our final question for today, as you take a beautiful question home with you, what window will it open in your heart? I have slips of paper, each of which contain a question from Neruda's Libro de las Preguntas. I'll be passing them around to you while we sing our hymn. I'll just put them on the chair underneath you if you've stood. And I invite you into singing our final hymn, number 18. Another beautiful question, what wondrous love is this? I invite you to rise or remain seated as you are most comfortable.
What wondrous love is this?
If you didn't get a slip, check your chair. Every week we are invited into a time of gratitude and generosity to practice our deep spiritual value of stewardship, caring for this community and all we hold dear by sharing our gifts with one another. I now invite your stewardship as an offering for the always continuing works of this community are given and received. If you prefer to give online or by text, please see your order of service for details. Your contributions this morning will go to support the work of our congregation and our monthly Faith to Action partner. This month's partner is Heart of Missouri Court-Appointed Special Advocates, also known as CASA. We are grateful that Lacey Pratt could join us this morning to tell us a bit about their work. Do we have Lacey? Yep. There you are. Welcome, Lacey.
My name is Lacey Pratt. My pronouns are she and her. I have pale skin, short brown hair, and I'm not ready to claim middle age. And yes, I am the Community Engagement Manager for Heart of Missouri CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates. We serve children in the foster care system in both Boone and Callaway counties. I want to start with a couple of numbers. Last year, over 650 children were in foster care in just Boone and Callaway County. Throughout that time, on average, those children can switch placements 4 times. So if you can imagine being ripped from your biological family, potentially going to a new school, and all of a sudden you're in foster care. There's a team of people to support those children, including a guardian ad litem, which is an attorney. There is Children's Division case manager, but as you may have heard or you may know, the system is completely overwhelmed, overworked, and understaffed. So most of the time, they don't have, the team of people don't have the ability to get to know the children in the way that they should. And then you enter in a CASA advocate. So we recruit and train volunteers to step in and act as voices for these children. Typically in court, the judge will defer to a CASA volunteer to learn how the child is doing, what they like and don't like, or what their needs may be. The training courses are 6 weeks long. We do them both in the afternoon and in the evening. And then you get appointed by a judge and then assigned a case. We have opportunities outside of volunteering that could include donating. We have wish lists for these children. And it is just an amazing opportunity to brainstorm with some professionals and help children and be the voice for those that can't advocate for themselves. I have brought some brochures and some different things. It's really tough to say what a CASA volunteer and what our organization does in 5 minutes or less. If you have any questions, I think that Todd would be a fantastic person to talk with. Yeah, that's all. I just really appreciate being here this afternoon with you guys. You've been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to finish with a song that Molly gave me some questions earlier this week, so I had a little bit more of some time to write a full piece. And the beautiful question was, what does the sun wish the moon knew? Which I just love that. And while I was writing, the night before I was writing it, I was watching Our Universe, Morgan Freeman's Our Universe. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. So I was just stuck in the astrological world and a very cosmic mindset. And I loved the idea of the sun talking to the moon. I just love that imagery. So this song is called Cosmic Rendezvous. And if you want to dance again, you can. She cast an arrow with a big, big bang, and the stars were made, and the universe sang a sweet, sweet song made of stardust and time, a never-ending melody. perfect rhyme. And I wish that you knew when I shine on you, it's a beautiful cosmic rendezvous. Yes, a perfect pair, and in the sky you reflect me and you light up the night. And no one can see her or make her stop. Yeah, she just keeps moving, she won't let you get off. It's a ride of a lifetime, but at least we're here, spending together year after year. And I wish that you knew when I shine on you, it's a beautiful cosmic rendezvous. Yes, a perfect pair, and in the sky you reflect me and you light up the night. I said I wish that you knew when I shine on you, it's a beautiful cosmic rendezvous. Yes, a perfect pair, and in the sky you reflect me and you light up the night. I said you light up, you light up, you light up the night. Yes, you light up, you light up, you light up my life. I said you light up, you light up, you light up the night. Yes, you light up, you light up, you light up my life. Yes, a perfect pair, and in the sky you reflect me and you light up my night.
Life itself is the biggest, most beautiful question of all. Let us go forth to live our response. Let us go in blessing and be a blessing to a world that needs our care. I hope that you will stay and join us for our potluck lunch after the service. We can reset the space all together with one another's help. And now let us join hands and sing our benediction.